Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees monthly board meeting on Wednesday, January 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. to order. Start with roll call. Nicole Barker, President.
Tom Ewig, Secretary Treasurer.
John Soper.
David Munoz, present.
Scott Habegger.
Ellen Moore. Jacqueline Romer.
Next is public comment period. However, there is nobody here to give public comments, so we will skip over that and go to the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda will be approved in one motion unless any board member requests that an item be removed for individual discussion. That item can be considered at an appropriate time during the board's regular order of business or under new business. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the December 17th, 2025 regular board meeting and the bill approval for December 2025 in the total amount of $31,455.69.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from December 17th, 2025 regular board meeting and the bill approval for December of 2025 in the total amount of $31,455.69, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. And then we got committee reports. First is Finance Committee.
We just scheduled our next meeting for February 5th at 6 p.m.
And then we got Special Projects, Fundraising and Outreach Committee. Scott?
We have all our materials ready to go out and speak with companies. We've got our database kind of put together, and the key right now, we're trying to find the key contacts at businesses. As we're working through that, and tomorrow we have our first meeting with a potential sponsor to walk through the program. So we're moving.
Nice.
Fantastic.
All right, and then Policy Review Committee, we just met prior to our meeting tonight. We discussed Policy 2.04, fines, fees, and notices, Policy 1.02, the Library Board Public Comment Period, Policy 5.03, unscheduled closings, and Policy 1.01, bylaws of the Board of Trustees. Some of those we should be voting on at the next meeting. Some of them were tabled, so we'll keep discussing those. But that's all I got for right now for that. Then Jackie, you're in review.
Yes, so in your packet is this colorful infographic that goes over our big wins of 2025 and a lot of really fantastic statistics. We are growing. There are so many big, exciting things that happened in 2025. The library seems more vibrant and busy and happening than ever. There's things happening in every department, constant new initiatives, constant new programs and services. We saw a 2% increase from 2024 to the visitors to the library, so there were over 172,000 visitors. We had over 1,400 meeting space reservations. The equipment that you can borrow in the Forge, like the 3D printer, the Cricut, the button makers, there were over 3,000 hours of use of that equipment. We had 29,871 people attend 867 programs, which was fantastic. We had over 10,000 sessions on our public computers. And with printing, copying, and faxing, there were over 16,000 sessions of that. We have 138,514 items available to be checked out, so physical items. So there's quite the collection. There's something for everyone. We had 476,378 checkouts, and that is physical and digital, and that was a 2.5% increase from 2024. Definitely seeing, and you'll see this in my director's report as well, but definitely seeing growth in e-books, audiobooks, e-magazines. So seeing a lot of growth with the digital materials and the interest in that. We had 77,916 holds placed on physical items. So that's a lot of holds. We have a community that has been trained for years on how to use their catalog, use the library, download the app, and really just be self-service with being able to, if you want to learn something about clay or pottery, place a hold on every book available in our system. So we have a bunch of super users in Menomonee Falls, which is wonderful. We love to see that. And those super users make up the 18,336 active borrowers. Our goal in our strategic plan, which ends in 2027, was to increase our borrowers by 25%, and we are well on our way. So we have to get to a little over 19,000 to reach that goal, and I think we're going to be able to do that by 2027. So that's wonderful. Yeah.
Can you clarify what the difference between an active borrower and just a borrower?
Their card is not expired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have a card that's up to date. It has, it hasn't reached the point that it expires, and so they are actively able to check out.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have 2,728 new card holders in 2025. So that's where we're seeing the action is we're getting lots more people signed up for library cards. This is happening organically with just people walking in, but we're also doing a lot more outreach to businesses where we will be invited to their employee wellness day, and we'll sign people up for library cards right at the business, which is awesome. Field trips have been a huge part of that as well, making sure that the kids get signed up for the library cards. We were at the language, the language fair at the elementary school last year, and we were able to sign people up for library cards and have our applications translated into different languages. So if you don't speak English at home, we have a bunch of different languages for the application so the parents can get their kids signed up or themselves signed up. So huge shout out to the library staff for making all of this happen. It's absolutely wonderful. They're putting in so much work, from everything from our collection to the programs to getting the meeting room reservations organized. It's really a team effort. So I couldn't be prouder of the Menomonee Falls Public Library team. Doing a great job.
That's awesome. Happy to see all this growth.
Yeah, we love to see the positive numbers. So
Yes, definitely.
Nice document too.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's very nice.
One question, just something I think, maybe more keeping an eye on is like as the increased usage of things like the Cricut, things like that, do we know roughly like where in the lifespan some of that equipment is?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just and just more for general thought, if we're increasing usage, that lifespan will decrease.
Yes.
So something would just
And we actually just got a new 3D printer last year
Right.
because it reached its limit and we were having trouble with it. So yeah, the Makerspace coordinator definitely keeps on top of that really regularly to make sure that we have things that are not outdated or not going to work, or even with the software required for a lot of these things, things change so fast. So, but yes, and a lot of those purchases have come from donations.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
awesome.
I have a silver lead if you need one.
Oh, I mean, we'll take it.
My mom gave it to me to donate. All right, next we have trustee education, chapter 3 bylaws, organizing the board for effective action.
So I decided to include this chapter this month because the policy review committee is just beginning reviewing the bylaws, and bylaws are a very intensive document that organize how you guys operate and what those parameters are, and every library's bylaws look so different. So I wanted to give this document just as a refresher for some background about what are the legal requirements, which a lot of it is really the makeup of the library board, and so that stays pretty standard. But there are possibilities for changes if you're so interested. Right now, we have a president and a secretary treasurer. A lot of boards have a vice president. So just kind of looking into that to see what you guys would like to see in our amended bylaws. Right now, the one that we have is pretty standard, but I'm gonna be providing the committee with samples from other libraries, other comparable libraries, and more information about what do we need to have in the bylaws, what's optional, what our choices are. And I'm gonna break it down a little bit more completely for everybody so that you can build the bylaws that you'd like to see. And that's all I really had on that one.
Any questions? All right, next is the library board president's reports. Just a few things. There's a library legislative day on February 6th. And then also there is, I don't know if anybody had signed up, but there is a trip to Madison for library legislative day on February 10th. Are you able to attend?
I am not, but we do have a Friends representative who's
Okay.
going. So we do have a Friends board member who's attending, which is awesome.
Perfect.
They always do a great job.
Yes. So registration's already closed for that, obviously, so even if you wanted to go, you couldn't. So, and then the National ALA Library Legislative Day trip to Washington DC is February 25th to the 26th. And, you guys should have received an email from, them about signing up if you wanted to go. And then also Kifley Scott's retirement party is on January 30th from 12 to 2. I was thinking that if anybody wanted to donate anything towards her retirement gift or anything to thank her for her 26 years of service, I'd be happy to take up a collection for that. Just a way of the board saying thank you for serving the community for 26 years and that we appreciate her. So after the board meeting, if you're interested, see me. And then looking through this, I thought there was some cool little like special days and months. Like today is Cheesy Socks Day. I don't know, I thought that was funny. So January 24th is Compliment Day. Something near and dear to my heart on January 27th is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. My great-grandparents were in concentration camps, so that hits home there for me. So January 28th is Library Shelfie Day.
Oh.
National Backwards Day is January 31st. That sounds like fun. Next month is Library Lovers Month, as well as Black History Month, Cancer Prevention Month, American Heart Month, and Celebration of Chocolate Month. Like that last one.
I didn't know we needed a month to celebrate chocolate.
Yes, we do. And February 6th is Pay a Compliment Day. February 7th is Take Your Child to the Library Day, so we want everybody to get involved in that. February 11th is Make a Friend Day. February 14th is Library Lovers Day. And then February 15th is National Wisconsin Day. Those are pretty cool. So, anyway.
Do you guys all get those emails from Bridges, from the marketing
Yeah.
person? Do you all get them? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought, I was just looking through it and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I kind of skip over it.
Yeah.
But
There's a
I was looking at it and I was like,
setting
oh, that's cool.
where it
Something fun.
sorts your mail automatically.
And that
so you have
is
to
all
actually
I
go into
have.
the
So
mailbox
next
where it goes to.
We were
Is,
just talking about spam and maybe,
Is it-
cause I've not seen those
I don't
emails.
think I've
Because
seen
it doesn't come
Oh,
on my
really?
regular feed, but there's a button that allows me to see all other mail that comes into our system, and that's where
Oh.
that
Oh,
one
it's
is.
possible because it's a
Yeah.
listserv
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I have to look for it.
yeah.
I've been getting.
Otherwise, I can check and make sure that you're all subscribed. Let me just check with Bridges and make sure you're all actually on the list.
Cause I don't think
know.
I've seen one,
I will
I
check.
don't know, maybe it's just because I've been on
but it could
the
be the
board for a
school
while.
district filters.
Could be.
Could be the filters
Yeah.
in the school district, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So next is the director's report.
Fantastic. So in the statistics, you'll see a little bit more detail from year to year for circulation, all of our tech resources. So obviously, we did not complete an entire year with Hoopla, so that's lower than previous years. So I'm very interested to see what happens in 2026 without having Hoopla as a digital resource as to how our physical versus our Libby checkouts compare, and if we're gonna see an increase or a spike in Libby checkouts or an increase in physical checkouts. It'll be interesting to watch that.
Looks like we've seen a pretty decent spike
A
there.
huge spike in the Libby checkouts from last year, so over 10,000 more, so that's fantastic. Computers, we're continuing to see growth in computer usage, so that's something that we'll have to evaluate moving forward. If we need to look at keeping it the same amount or increase it, we'll certainly consider it for the next computer purchase, but that is not in 2026. Printing varied a little bit from last year, decreased a little bit. Mobile printing has increased, so we started using Print for mobile printing, and it's a lot more user-friendly and easy to use, so we've seen more use of the mobile printing, which is awesome because it's so convenient. You can do it right from your phone, from home, and then just come pick up your prints. Faxing kind of evened out back to 2023 numbers. Wi-Fi usage has increased as well.
You've been telling people not to do it, haven't you?
That's not true. My father-in-law is a big faxer, so that, no, really. So,
It's just a nice state.
it's why I'm
We
kinda
still
dialed.
use it at
I'm kinda
work.
dialed on it a little bit.
I hear that
We've
fax machine all
also
the
been
time.
teaching people how to scan to email,
Ah.
so improving technology a little bit.
Good.
Card registrations, about the same as last year, but a big increase back from 2023. Visitors is a huge increase from 2023. So we went from 152,431 visitors in 2023 up to 172,026 patrons entering the building in 2025. So that's a big jump, and I think it's going to continue growing with all of the things that we are doing and the community connections we're building. So just looking forward to continued growth there. Growth in our program numbers and our participants. In 2023, we had 18,673 program participants, jumping up to 29,871 in 2025. So our programs are taking off quite a bit. The staff who run the programs are really listening to what the community wants, what's in demand, and adjusting to that. So I think that's a lot of why you see that. Collection services, pretty much the same in terms of materials added and withdrawn. That pretty much evens out year to year. And interlibrary loan and borrowing services outside of bridges, pretty much the same.
So we had a slight decrease 23 to 24 in our borrow, and then we had an increase in 24 to 25. Is there a rhyme or a reason? Because I know in previous conversations that us being a net lender versus a net borrower.
So this only applies to interlibrary loans,
Got
so the
it.
stuff outside of bridges.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a separate statistic, which
Got it.
Ellen's been working behind the scenes to revamp the statistics that you guys get every month to
Okay.
have more information, seeing meeting room reservations and some really cool data that I think will help you understand the full realm of everything that's happening at the library and all the services we offer. And we are working on seeing if we can get that net borrower, net lender for how many materials we're sending out versus getting in within bridges into that.
Perfect.
That's a tricky data point to kind of pin down, which is why I don't include it every month, but we're gonna see what we can do. Because that will help you kind of see where we're at with net borrowing, net lending. We're probably always gonna be a net borrower, but the goal is to become a net lender. Coffee shop update, I have my monthly meeting with them next week. Otherwise, I don't have anything else on that. Facilities maintenance plan update, I did talk to Tom Hoffman at the Village. He reiterated that the facilities maintenance plan, in terms of the inventory of our mechanicals and getting some timelines for replacement, is very closely wrapped into the police department remodel and all of the changes they're gonna be making to Village Hall because of that. So, we haven't made any progress yet on that. So I'm waiting on the Village for that one so that they can purchase the software and start getting going on that, but that one is just sort of, we're just waiting on the Village, so. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about is I just got it today, so the director of Bridges Library System sent me an email with the public hearing information for the Waukesha County Library Services Plan. So Ann Lesla's been serving on that committee with people from throughout Waukesha County to make updates to the Waukesha County Library Services Plan, where they have the standards and the minimums to exempt. And there's gonna be a public hearing for that on February 3rd at 6 p.m. at the Mukwonago Community Library. And then we also will be getting, if the committee endorses the plan, then the standards portion of that document, where it's how many hours we need to be open, how much we need to have in our collection, things like that, comes to you guys, the library board. And the standards will take effect if they're approved by the county and public library boards of at least 50% of the participating municipalities in the county that contain, according to the most recent estimate prepared under statute 16.96, at least 80% of the population of participating municipalities in the county. So there's an interesting formula there, but, so those
It's not technically 50% of the library.
No.
It has to represent 80% of the population, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I get it. I understand it.
I know, I had to read it word for word because it's a little confusing. So that will be coming to you, I believe, at our February meeting for your tentative approval. And I also forwarded you the draft plan so you can take a look at those standards. I'll try to get you some information about what exactly is changing with those standards so that you can kind of compare one for one on those.
And you said February 3 is the public hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's in that, that email she just sent, it has the details
Okay.
specifically for you if you want that. Sorry, lost my thought, go ahead.
Okay.
Must not have been.
I didn't have anything else on that.
I
Did,
just found
we
out
get,
I can't get into my emails, so that's, oops.
monthly statement from Latitude.
I've been having
I don't remember seeing it.
so many issues with it.
We did. Was it not on the? I can tell you what the numbers are.
That's what I said.
It might have been.
I thought I printed it briefly.
Let me
I
just
don't
pull
have it
that
in my
information
packet,
up for
so-
you. Now that we have all the information from year end for Latitude, I can send you my spreadsheet that I have where I break down year to date comparison. But just for some quick stats on that. It's opening. It's trying to open. Oh, yikes.
Doesn't want to.
Huh. It's trying. computer's frozen. Oh. Sorry.
It's because it's snowing out.
What says right around 8,000 for the year?
Let's try that again. I'm not able to. Yeah, I think the VPN is down. I'm not able to get into that document, but I will email it to you because it shows everything we got last year, everything we got this year, and then some broken down. I have a chart by month to compare last year to this year. Sorry about that. Yeah, I will email it to you after the meeting.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Any questions? All right. Anne's not here to give her report, so next up is David, school district report.
Yeah, just quit writing a few notes so I could read them easier. Just a couple congratulations. This one I put out at the board meeting. The next one isn't public yet, but I'll make it public tonight. Mr. Grabauer has been named a finalist for the Cole Award, so which is outstanding. So the Cole Award's a prestigious award. He's a finalist. So he hasn't found that out yet. That'll be found out in March or April. I was one of several that wrote the recommendation. So it's a prestigious education award in the state of Wisconsin. So that's outstanding. And it just came out last week. And we've told our board internally, and we've told some of our internal people, but Mr. Halverson, some people know Mr. Halverson, that I put him up for an award at the state level, and he won it.
Oh,
And it's
nice.
the Wisconsin School Safety Coordinators Coordinator of the Year Award.
Awesome.
So, so he's the single recipient in the entire state. So that'll be awarded, I believe, in March, but we're working on some sort of releases and stuff like that. Mr. Halverson is Student Services Director. He's in charge of school safety for the district, attendance discipline, all the back end of student services. So he does quite a bit, works a lot with our social workers, counselors, that sort of thing, nurses, and obviously the coordinator with the police department. So it's an outstanding award. So it's really good. He's a good man and a good public servant. Aside from that, I met with State Assemblyman Knodel to discuss some of the challenges at the state level. For those that aren't aware, and I put some things out to the paper, there's been some changes since the annual meeting that have negatively affected all public schools in the state. So there's been some changes how the state has done some things. One, personal property aid was changed, and it was an $800,000 difference. It's a big change. We had it last year, and this year it wasn't in revenue, so that's an $800,000 cut the way the aid formula works. One of the other changes was they always set a number, like 40-some% or whatever for special education, and it always comes in lower. We know that, but it's never come in this low. So the gap between what was promised and what is received is substantially large for special education. The last thing, challenges that I discussed with State Assemblyman Knodel was that we were granted $325 more per pupil, but the first time in my time as an administrator, it's over 20 years, in the state of Wisconsin, the state didn't put money on the other side of the formula to offset, so the effect is property tax burden all over the state. So the effect in some school districts, now we're financially stable, that's another thing I'm gonna hit. So I'm gonna pass this out right now. This is the audit, and this is public already. I think that's enough to get to everybody. Should
Did I
be.
give one too many over there?
Nope, yep.
I think I gave
Oh,
one.
There you go. And I'll just do a brief over this. So there's some challenges at that level. So I've made some changes after the annual meeting, and the board has approved the changes. We are moving district office July 1st over to Ben Franklin. We're kind of rebuilding a district office over here because the police are taking over the whole front, which they should. They need to do all these things that they're doing over here. So we're moving our district office over to the back of Ben Franklin. But because of all these changes at the state level, we're making some changes to our active budget, which the board has already approved. So we took $1.5 million out of that project just to make sure that there's not going to be any sort of instability. There isn't. We're in great financial situation, and that's what this external audit says. So this external audit was presented already, and I'm just going to give a high level. If you go to the third page, you just flip one page. We have the highest audit opinion, which is an unmodified audit opinion. That's an actual opinion that is the highest opinion externally that we can be given by Baker Tilly, who is our outside group that looks at our books. So we are in a solid financial situation before the changes at the state, now and after. It's not just my words, it's also Baker Tilly. One thing I want to reference, if you flip one more page, and then I'll get off of these sheets, this is an overview of our budget situation, which is solid. You can see our fund balance on the bottom, and this is done in the millions, so it's our total fund balance is $20 million, little over $20 million, of which $12.2 million is unassigned. Now, in school funding, I'm not as confident in the funding on this side of the formula, but on our side of the formula, we use our fund balance to make payroll, so we don't have to borrow to make payroll, because the state of Wisconsin sends us money odd times of the year, not all July 1. So because of that, we need a fund balance in order to continue to make payroll, so we don't have to borrow, which we don't. We don't have to borrow to make payroll. So these are very good numbers. It actually shows that we're over budgeted, when you're looking at that. And all that means is we were actually carrying a carryover. So we underspent intentionally in order to do over $1 million worth of roof work in a bunch of different places. So when you see this, it looks actually very good, like we spent more than we budgeted, but it was because we carried money over to do roof work and some big maintenance work. So I just wanted to quick show you this, and you can keep that. It's public on the website, and it links to a full report that's books and books long. But long and short of it, we're in solid financial situation, even given the machinations and whatever happens in Madison with their decision. So that being said, we made some shifts just to make sure, and I've started some meetings with buildings in order to talk to staff about it, including tomorrow morning at 8. And I had a couple of others already. So aside from that, so some good news, some interesting news about the budget. A few other things, the big piece at the end, and it's my construction update. And I was getting live notes on my phone, so I do apologize for that, but I was writing the notes down, that we are getting the community center, the new community center, 18,000 square feet, new gym, new walking path, all these new spaces. It starts to go online next week. So we're substantially done with the project. Tomorrow, the full parking lot will be open. I just got verification. I just want to double check, because you got to move big machinery and all these sorts of things. But we'll have that full parking lot back tomorrow. And then the new gym will be open next week. So we're adding a gym to the community, so that'll alleviate pressure on the rest of our gyms. So when you have community ed and rec department programming, so that brand new gym will go online next week. It's actually be usable this weekend, but we'll let it sit through the weekend because it's been sanded and relined and all those sort of things. But it's very impressive, so feel free to walk in there. We'll have a walking path eventually. It's already up and available. It's just a matter of putting some signage up. So an indoor walking path. Quest, which is our alternative school, they have a brand new space. They start on Tuesday. Senior programming opens up on the 2nd, so February 2nd. And then fitness programming is after that. I think it was the 9th. That's where I caught my, we'll go February 9th. So fitness programming, February 9th. and then senior programming February 2nd. So we're kind of grading in to that opening, but feel free to stop over. We'll have a ribbon cutting probably in March-ish, March, April. We're trying to get everything up and running and moving everything into their spaces. But once you get up there, you'll notice that we've added a community center, a state-of-the-art community center to the entire village, and we did it with no loans. So,
That's amazing.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
so feel free to stop up. Like next week, they'll be substantially open. So if you're just around, and you know Jason's probably listening right now, going, "Okay, remember the 2nd and the 9th, but the parking lot's open, and all these programs will start coming online next week, and then the weeks in the next 2 weeks." About
That's
it.
very exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting for the community as a whole, and an outreach for the school district, but also for anybody else that want, just like here, you know, you can sign up for things, you can sign up for different locations. We've been kind of crunched in a little bit, you know, the ladies that make all the yarn and all those sorts of things, they have those groups, and they have workout groups, and they have they've been kind of in really tight spaces, and they're looking to get out into their spaces. Our alternative school Quest, they're excited about moving into their zone, so they have a dedicated entry space. And I actually think, in my opinion, it's one of the nicer rooms there. They think so too. They're real excited, the staff and students, to get into that space Tuesday. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, we're excited. So that's ready to go, and obviously we're done with the Riverside portion. So those that have students at Riverside, there was an expansion at Riverside, new library. So they have a new library at Riverside connected to their music zone, and we've completely separated those facilities, which was one of the main intents.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited, and
That's
it's
wonderful.
in the winter part. There's some lining, there's some outside things to do, but you know, it is what it is when you finish a project in the middle of winter.
That's for
You know,
sure.
so that's all I have.
Crazy of
from
a
the-
winter as it's been too.
Uh-huh.
Considering we got how many inches of snow right after Thanksgiving.
I know.
I'm impressed. I mean, just with them being able to continue to plug away, just with all the snow, and it happened all so early. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things to do, but I think you'll see that the parking was well thought out. We're thinking about a few other things on the outside, just in terms of traffic flow between the high school, not the high school, Riverside and the community center, and how that all kind of phases together. But it looks pretty natural and connected, like it's always been there, even though it's brand new, 18,000 square feet. And it's pretty full, pretty active. They're always running programming out of there, just like here.
Yeah.
great.
So the gym that's free for the community to use, or do you have to sign up?
You have to just go through Community Ed and Rec. If you go to the school district website, the Community Ed and Rec link is there. So yes, they can sign up for programming. There was a book that came out to every community member from Community Ed and Rec for winter. Jason, Mr. Huslein sends it out 3 times a year with all the different programming. But yep, you can do that all through the school district website. CE and Rec is one of our divisions. And then you can sign up for basketball leagues and all the different things, pickleball, all the different things. That there's just a enormous amount of programming out of Community Ed and Rec.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Next is the Friends reports.
Saturday, Chocolate Falls Give Back, 10 to 5, 30% goes to the library. So they really upped it in memory of Bill Gay. So that should be a great event.
Say that one more time, Scott. What is the percent give back on there?
30%.
That is
That's phenomenal.
fantastic.
Yeah, 30%.
Holy cow.
I don't know, is that the biggest you've ever heard of, 30%?
It's a really nice
That is
amount. Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolate balls, you said.
Yeah. As far as the year end, I think the summary the Friends group gave was that they gave more and they got more in. over the year. Dispersed $21,000. There's another 10,000 that's designated. Unrestricted funds they have right now is 26,000. So they were all very excited that going in the right direction. And the meeting earlier this month, they did a nice recognition of Jackie and all the work she's done. Got a nice flowers, so it was very good.
sweet.
So yeah, and we're working with them, coordinating on the fundraising aspect too. So we've got good alignment on that.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, our next meeting will be Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m., which everyone remember it's 1 week later than our normal since we have the annual reporting deadlines.
Ooh,
And-
it's different.
Yep, and we are adjourned.